So, I've been feeling all of this resistance to recording podcasts lately, realizing that I need to get over this resistance, and so I'm deciding to record a podcast about, resistance, fear, courage. This is a topic that I've been sitting with a lot these days. Like, what is the nature of the fear that stops us from showing up and pressing the record button? I'm noticing that it's like this fear of judgment. I know that a lot of the people, a lot of my friends, a lot of the people that I've gotten to know over the years listen to these podcasts, read the newsletter, watch the YouTube videos. And so every time I record, there's this fear of like all these people that I care about seeing me share and wondering what they will think of what I share. And I'm like, why is this so central? Why is this such a central aspect of my process, and why is it so difficult to show up? And I'm realizing that, it's just something I need to get over, something we all need to get over, of just showing up, being in it, being in the thick of it, being in pressing the record button and seeing what happens and posting it anyway and then doing it again. And I have this incredible fear around this. And it's, really difficult to work with. I think that I'm recording this because I think that a lot of other people feel this fear as well. The fear of hitting publish, the fear of putting it out to the world, even if only like 50 people see it. The podcast gets seen by a couple hundred people every time I put it out, which feels like a lot. I know some podcasts get hundreds of thousands of episode listens, but to me, 200 people listening to every episode feels like a lot of people. And so there's this resistance, there's this fear. And I've been noticing the texture of this fear a lot lately. And I've been noticing how a lot of my work in any domain, whatever domain that it falls in, is by its nature seeing the fear and having enough courage to continue to act. It sounds so simple, but just that little reframe of this is what the work is. It's being afraid and still acting. Like that is what the essence of the work boils down to. So, for example, on the podcast, I'm afraid to reach out to some guests because like I don't want to like fail or get rejected, or like I want to say the perfect thing and so I never act, versus just reaching out to someone, seeing if they say yes. If they do, amazing. If they don't, on to the next person. For some reason this is really difficult, and so choosing to send the message, that is for me overcoming the fear. Choosing to hit the record button, that is overcoming the fear. Choosing to create a plan, strategize, execute on that plan, that's actually scary. I've been sitting with a lot what Forrest Landry talks about, and also OG Rose, two of the guests that I've had on the podcast. They talk a lot about how fear is inherently risky. Or sorry, I didn't say that right. Choice is inherently risky. Whenever we make a choice, there is inherent risk in it. And if it's not risky, then it's not a choice. Because by making a choice, we're committing we're making a decision. We're saying that this thing I believe is valuable, and therefore I'm going to do it. And I'm going to not do all of the other things that I could have done. All of the other decisions, all the other possible choices. I made a decision for this one thing. There's risk in that, because what if it's the wrong thing? What if it is not the right thing, not the right use of our time? It very well could be, and it likely will be with many of the decisions that we make. And so realizing how finite time is, realizing how little time we actually have on this planet, every single choice feels so risky. And that is the fear. That is what we must me to with courage. That is what I am noticing. I am noticing that, what's worse is constantly looking at the landscape of choices and choosing not to make any of them because it feels like there's too many possible choices. That is the worst outcome that we could possibly have. And so, but that doesn't make it any easier to actually make the choice, to actually make the decision. So I've really been sitting with this of how risky choice is. The nature of choice is that there is risk ingrained as an inseparable part of choice. There's risk. And so risk is scary. Risk is inherently scary. There is fear associated with that risk. And that is the fear that must be met with courage, that must be confronted every single day. In the millions of micro choices that we make, there are micro risks, and every single little choice has fear because it could be the wrong choice, but we can choose to do it anyway. We can choose to show up with as much genuine intent as we possibly can, and to choose to act, to choose to commit to ourselves to make the decision, the best possible decision that we can possibly make given our level of awareness, our understanding of the complexity of the choice landscape, and our understanding of that which will most holistically set our life on a trajectory that is positive. So this is my rant today, and thank you for listening to this. This today is me getting over this fear of recording and doing it anyway and posting it. So thank you for listening. If you liked it, let me know. My genuine intent is to hit record as many times as I can in the upcoming year.